Good morning and welcome to the news conference. This morning, the Mayor Ras Baraka has invited you here. We want to thank all of the fellow New Jersey mayors who are coming. Thank you very much. The New Jersey mayors can assemble behind us with the state legislators, the other law enforcement officials, and traffic safety advocates. We are here today to hold a news conference in support of the state's red light camera program. And with no further ado, I will bring to the podium the Honorable Mayor Ras Baraka.
So I just want to welcome everybody here this morning. Very important press conference that we're having. I want to thank all of the folks that came from near and far to support what we're doing. Of course, our members of our delegation that are here, Senator Rice, Senator Codey is here as well. And I don't know, some other people from my delegation stayed around. Assemblywoman. Oh, Assemblywoman is here. Miley J.C. is here. Oh, everybody's here. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Caputo is here. So, most of our county delegation is here, and we're happy that they support what we're doing here as well. We also have new State Assemblywoman Grace Spencer, who is also here, who's helping us, sponsor what we need. Mayor Brian Waller from Piscataway, Mayor Clifton Peoples from Union Township, the City Councilor Joyce Waterman from Jersey City, Joy Crisculo, Business Administrator from Piscataway, Police Chief John Cook is here, Chief Paul Morrison from Roselle Park, Lieutenant Manuel Jimenez, Deputy Chief Howard Waymer, Sergeant Mark Burton, Chief Alex Fanfarillo, Captain Jeff Weiser, Sergeant Tom Broham from Rawway, and Lieutenant Mike Babalewski from Linden. Some of them are here, some of them are not, but they are supporting this press conference today, and there are many folks around the state of New Jersey that supports this. And I want to also thank Bill Dressel from the League, who's here as well, supporting us this morning. So we know there's been a lot of controversy around this red light cameras and whether it's necessary or not. Some people have even accused us of many different things in the press and on the radio, which I think is inappropriate and doesn't speak to the real issues that we're dealing with here in the city of Newark and municipalities like this. Newark is probably one of the first and longest cities that take on the red light cameras and have had it for a numerous amount of years, probably 5 years. We've witnessed in that time about a 95% reduction in right-angle crashes, 39% reduction in rear-end crashes, a 51% overall reduction altogether. We know that instead of putting police officers at these intersections, that we can now get them to do other police work that we desperately need them to do in the city of Newark. As you've seen over the weekend, we need police doing police work and not monitoring intersections, and these red light cameras help us to make that happen. Also, it is an unintentional consequence of the red light cameras because they allow us to get other information that is related to policing that may happen if we're trying to monitor cars that are going through specific intersections. The police do have access to that video and that information, so that helps us tremendously here in this city. We're witnessing the reduction in not just crashes, but we also witnessing reduction in harm to people, reduction in deaths here in the city of Newark. So that's important for us here in this town. I know that there are people who probably don't come back and forth in our city who don't understand the impact that it has on Newark, and it has a great impact here in this city in terms of the quality of life that residents have to deal with every single day, and it has a lot to do with the dense population of people that we have in our city that we are able to monitor and make sure that their lives are safer in this city and that people are driving and following the rules and the laws of the roadway every single day. So with that being said, I think some other folks are supposed to come up here and speak this morning. So I'd like to call Assemblywoman up, Grace Spencer, as she speaks.
Hi, Assemblywoman Grace Spencer from the 29th Legislative District. As the mayor indicated, there are several members here that represent the delegation. We stand in support of what the mayor is trying to do as far as reducing and contributing to the safety and well-being of the residents here in the city of Newark. We recognize that there is a value that comes with the red light cameras, particularly as it relates to how people are moving in and out of the city and how they're protected by the city when they come into our city. So we support the mayor and what it is that he's trying to do with regards to maintaining the red light cameras in and around the city of Newark. As part of the delegation, the members that are here are Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker, Assemblywoman Ileana Pinto-Marin, Assemblyman Ralph Caputo, and the senators, as the mayor mentioned, Senator Dick Codey, as well as Senator Ronald Rice. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. And I forgot Assemblywoman Myla Jacey.
At this time, we want to bring up William Dressel, Executive Director, New Jersey League of Municipalities.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I applaud you on what you're doing here today in basically responding to the bad press and misinformation that has been out on the red light camera program. This program is basically the result of enabling legislation which was adopted by the legislature, signed by the governor, to provide 5 full years of data to be evaluated and analyzed, to take a look at the accidents, and to be able to take a look at the severity of those accidents, evaluate that and make an informed decision. That has not occurred. We only are working on the 3rd report. There are 2 more reports that have got to be done. It's in the legislation. And it is premature to draw any conclusions. And take a look at the supporters. Take a look at the people behind me, people from the law enforcement community, the Chiefs of Police Association, the AAA, the Traffic Officers Association, the mayors who have analyzed this data in their own communities and have reached the conclusion that it does reduce crashes. And most importantly, it changes driver behavior. And that is what is important here. Put all the other nonsense aside that you hear. Take a look at the facts. The facts are that cities and municipalities across this state are in a dire situation. The monies are not forthcoming from the federal government, the state government. We can't rely on the taxpayers. We need additional tools to augment, to supplement our police departments. Let them address the crime issues that are in all of our communities, not just the city of Newark in which we stand here today. So this is common sense legislation. This is something that's got to be highlighted. I applaud the mayor. I applaud your legislative delegation. I applaud everybody here today that's focusing the light on the facts. And that's where the light has to be focused. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to call the Springfield Police Chief, John Cook, up, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple notes that I took because I'm very passionate about this program. I mean, the law is very clear. A red means to stop. If you run a red light, chances are you're going to get a ticket, or at the best, at worst, you're either going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else being involved in an accident. Actually, there's the dangers of running a yellow light or trying to beat a yellow light have been evident for years. There's been a law on the books. I've been an officer almost 26 years, 394-105, which states that if a light is yellow, any driver is obligated, if they're a safe enough distance away, to stop for a yellow light. Not even a red light, a yellow light, you're obligated to stop for that. So the facts of how dangerous it has been have been out there for years. It's nothing new, it's not a surprise. My experience over the past 25 plus years in law enforcement, I find that as many drivers that there are that are trying to beat the yellow light, so to say, there are just as many who are ready to jump the red light turning green. And when you have those two types of drivers meeting each other, it ends in a tragic crash. And I've seen that plenty of times. At the intersection where we have our light in Springfield, the biggest problem I used to see as a patrol officer sitting, I used to monitor this light because it's been a bad intersection, again, 25 plus years that I've been there. Person's approaching the light to make a right turn. They see the light's yellow. They don't want to wait for the main traffic coming, so they'll speed up to try to beat the traffic that has the legitimate green light. Many accidents because of that. Now that the camera's there, that is non-existent, practically non-existent. I haven't witnessed that at all. We haven't had any crashes due to that since then. I'm often asked the question, the camera system produces rear-end crashes. I have yet to see that in 2 years we've had the program. In fact, again, back when I used to patrol, when there's the chance that there's an officer sitting there or not, and someone comes around a turn and then there's a police officer there, that's when the sudden braking happens, because you never know if there's going to be someone there or not. With the red light camera system, it's a constant. You know it's there. If you go that way every day, you know it's there. It's not a surprise, so there's no reason to stop short. All you have to do is obey the law. It's definitely made our intersection safer. We're supported by my officers, by the Chiefs Association, and the data speaks for itself. As far as eliminating the program, which certainly goes against what law enforcement advises, the statement that it would have no impact on dangerous driving is completely untrue. I'll briefly explain how the system works, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about how this works. It's a three-step process that's reviewed. Any captured violations go to the vendor themselves. They then review still images and video. They take what they think might be a violation. It is then sent back to the agency where the camera is, in my case, Springfield. My officers, sworn officers, myself included, we then review what is sent to us from the vendor. We look at still images. We look at a 12-second video, 6 seconds prior to the light being red, 6 seconds after. And then we determine whether or not it's a clear-cut violation, and we either then submit it for a violation or we reject it for certain reasons. If you were to run a red light in Newark, it's a Newark officer who's going to issue it. If it's in Springfield, it's a Springfield officer. So it's issued by a police officer, not the vendor themselves. As the mayor had said, it's a time now where they're asking law enforcement to do more with less. This system, as the mayor had said, it gives me more resources to use. I can utilize my officers to be proactive in the community itself as opposed to having to sit at an intersection. We get a lot of complaints, so we would normally sit there prior to having the camera. But now that frees up resources. So it's great. It benefits the town. It allows officers to be out doing their jobs instead of sitting at a light. Great thing as far as I'm concerned. As far as numbers go, when we started the program 2 years ago, we were averaging about 2,000 violations a month. November of 2013, we had 914 violations. This past November, 421. So to me, that's a success. The numbers have continued to drop, which again shows drivers' habits are changing, which is what the program is about. Nobody likes to get a ticket. It's easy to opt out of getting a ticket, just obey the law, and it's not an issue. It's not an issue. So again, I'm very passionate about it, and I thank you for your time.
Jana Chernetz, Senior New Jersey Policy Analyst.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jana Chernetz. I'm the Senior New Jersey Policy Analyst for Tri-State Transportation Campaign. We are a nonprofit transportation policy advocacy organization working in New Jersey, Connecticut, and downstate New York. Red light cameras are about safety. Red light cameras are about changing drivers' behavior for the better. Red light cameras are a proven, cost-effective way to enforce traffic laws at intersections that have a high accident rate. The prevalent accidents caused by drivers who run red lights are referred to as T-bone or right-angle crashes. These are inherently dangerous. Red light cameras reduce these accidents and prevent innocent people from serious injury and death. And here in Newark, that data is very impressive, and that data was spoken to by the mayor, that very impressive data in Newark. Red light cameras record drivers who break the law and summonses are issued. Over time, the number of drivers who receive summonses decreases. As such, the red light camera program is a success as it changes drivers' behavior for the better. This makes New Jersey roads safer for all users, including motorists, pedestrians, and cyclists. Running a red light is illegal, and the camera is intended to correct that illegal and dangerous behavior. Ensuring that red light cameras are used fairly and effectively is the best way to make certain that the continued safety benefit from the cameras is captured. The red light camera program must have one goal, and that one goal is zero. Zero accidents, zero fatalities, zero summonses, and zero revenue. All New Jersey drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists should support such an effective public safety tool. Thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Paul Morrison, Roselle Park, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me start by saying that, as was stated here earlier this morning, that the red light cameras do absolutely change driver behavior. Roselle Park has had cameras in place since May of 2011. Since that time, each year, the violations have steadily decreased. 97% of the people who have received summonses at our camera-controlled intersection have not reoffended. That in itself will tell you that these drivers have become educated that a yellow light means stop, the light's going to turn red. Not, oh, it's a yellow light, I better speed up to beat the red. The public has become educated to that, and that's a good thing. That's a public safety thing. That's saving lives. That's saving people from serious injuries at these intersections. Also, another thing that these cameras do, they also assist us in solving crimes that occur within the camera shot of the intersection. Actually, there was a near-fatal accident in another jurisdiction. It was reported that the vehicle left the scene and was traveling towards Roselle Park in the area of that intersection. We contacted our camera vendor, ATS, sent us the video. We found the vehicle that was involved in the near fatality. Subsequently, unfortunately, the woman wound up passing away. However, thanks to the cameras, we were able to find a vehicle that had left the scene. That person was later arrested and charged with vehicular homicide. So these cameras not only save lives as far as the motoring public, they also assist not only Roselle Park, every jurisdiction I know that has red light cameras, it assists them with other crimes, not only motor vehicle incidents. So the red light cameras should stay in place. They're certainly, it's a public safety matter. The public is much safer. One other thing, I know that not only a camera-controlled intersection, even intersections that don't have cameras now, I know because it's been told to me by the public, and I do it myself. Is there a camera there or isn't there? There's a yellow light, I had better stop. So the public is now educated that yellow means stop, not speed up and possibly cause an accident. So the red light cameras do save lives and save people from serious injury, so that's a good thing for the state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Jersey City Councilor Joyce Waterman. Not here. Okay. Is Mayor Peoples? Right. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor. We've had red light cameras in our town for 3 years, and over the course of 3 years, we've had a reduction in rear-end accidents totaling 51%. The summonses that were issued over those 3 years is down 58%, with 27 less summonses being issued. Red light cameras are a tool that assists our community. It's a safety issue. It's a public safety issue that should always or should be continued. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, at our next council meeting, I'm going to talk about even putting the cameras on streets across streets around the schools because there are safety issues around schools where you'll find a lot of motorists speeding around those particular areas. Public safety is a paramount in what we do in our communities. And if we can't, or we don't have really the resources in terms of the police to do all the policing, these cameras assist us in doing those kind of things. So it's important that we keep these cameras in place. I would love to see, again, the cameras placed on through streets. Behavior modification, and these cameras also modify the behavior of a segment of our population, the segment of our population that violates a law. Anytime you violate a law, there's a consequence. And the negative things that you hear about the cameras is that, it's a revenue thing. Forget that. The consequence, if you break the law, you pay a price. It's a byproduct of breaking the law. So again, if the cameras go dead, that'll be a travesty to our communities. It'll be a travesty to all those who we are served to protect. Continue the program, and I would hope that the legislators hear this press conference and continue this program. Thank you very much.
I don't see the other mayor, so I think that concludes us this morning. I just want to, again, thank everyone for coming out, and we're going to have opportunity for questions and answers, but I want to reiterate again that this red light camera is about public safety. It's about us making sure that our public, our children, our seniors are able to walk across the street safely. It's about reducing accidents, increasing the quality of life in our community, and making sure that we do what we can as leaders in our prospective municipalities and districts to make sure that the residents are safe in and around their community overall. And if people are concerned about the money, then we should do what we can to make sure that they don't break the law. Right? And I think the red light camera is actually an argument to help people not break the law. And as was stated earlier, we're trying to get to zero, and zero is where we want to be, and the red light cameras helps us to get to zero. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to change. The senator and the governor has disability. Senator Codey, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor, for bringing us here today, and it's nice to be with the other members of our Essex delegation. To me, this is about safety, stupid. Simple as that. Anecdotally, I left my office after just speaking to the mayor's office about being here. Went to an intersection. Sure enough, somebody tried to beat the light. There was an accident. Simple as that. Every day near where I live, there's an intersection close to 280. People come west, make a left-hand turn to get to 280, the other direction, make a right-hand turn. Almost every day, there's an accident. You're going to work, you're late. You want to try to beat the light. It's human instinct. But it kills and it injures, as simple as that. My last thought, I am a funeral director. 10 days ago, a gentleman who lived in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, was in Tampa, Florida, and I think it was Naples, excuse me, and he got a green light. He was going to play golf. A young woman tried to beat the light, T-boned him, dead, now buried. Simple as that. The facts are the facts. Get from the mayor's office the reduction in accidents in certain intersections. And if you don't believe then, you're never going to believe it. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing us here today on a very important issue for citizens of Newark and the state of New Jersey. Thank you, sir.
So we're any opportunity to answer any questions that people have? None? Okay, we go. No, go ahead. Anybody can respond. Go ahead.
One of the things I've heard is about, well, you know, if you there's a white line and your tire tracks are on the white line, you get a ticket for, you know, beating the light, okay? All those glitches, quote unquote, citations. Most of all, by the way, and the mayor can maybe explain better than me, all these things are reviewed by the police departments. So if they see somebody's tire was just on the white line, but he didn't go through the light, they don't get a ticket. I mean, it's as simple as that. The ticket is retrieved, shall I say. Is that correct? So there are glitches, but we can take care of them. When you look at the dramatic reductions in intersections and accident, it's mind-boggling for me to think you wouldn't want this in your community for safety, especially if you got a wife and children. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
I think the police personnel that was here explained it perfectly in terms of what the processes are. I think the misconception is how the program actually works. People believe that there are some vendors somewhere in some ivory tower giving people tickets who don't know what's going on. That's absolutely not the case, right? Police officers from that specific district or municipality are responsible for reviewing those tickets and making a decision of whether this is something that is a violation or something that should be rejected, right? And they do that. And then you still always have court, right? So we do live in a democracy, so you have the ability to also go to court and say that this is not true. So in and of itself, there's a lot of ways to be against a violation or a ticket that you were given, right? So, right.
If the city's allowed to enact the program on its own, but the public is opposed, would you have a public hearing, or would you just put the program in place?
Well, I think most of the things that we do in democracy in the cities, you can't have a public meeting without a public hearing. I mean, that's the law. So ultimately, everybody has the right to weigh in on what it is that they believe and think. And we believe that it should be permissible, right? So municipalities that think that they need this for their population should have the right to do that. So the reverse is also true. So if somebody says that they don't think that this works, should they have the unilateral power or authority to say that no one can have it? So we don't agree with that either. We think that the folks in the cities that agree that this works for their city should have the right to have that in their municipality. And I think all of the folks that stand here believe that this is a tool that we need in our respective municipalities.
The governor has indicated that he is not in favor of renewing the program. So I guess this would go to some of the state legislators. I mean, do you think that you have a veto-proof majority to further it? And if not, realistically, what can individual municipalities do if they want to decide that they can continue the program without possible DOT oversight?
Your question is what can, once the program,
passes, it will be vetoed. So if there's no veto-proof majority, then...
Okay. First of all, I believe the governor has said that he's not in favor. I don't think he said that. I'm not completely sure what his quote or where he stands with regards to it. The deadline on the red light camera is December 16th, so it's roughly next week. Now, what can these municipalities do? It's going to be up to the legislature to introduce legislation that could potentially allow towns to reintroduce or to continue the pilot program as it currently exists. This is something that existed purely as a pilot program, and for it to continue, there needs to be some authorization.
First of all, I want to congratulate the mayor for instituting this issue, for initiating this issue and trying to get this reactivated. And Grace and I have joined together with other legislators to re-sponsor this legislation. By the time this gets to your question, by the time this gets to the governor's desk, hopefully, we'll be open to any suggestions that might improve the bill. I think we've gone as far as we can at this point. But when it goes to committee and when it goes through both houses, there'll be many changes. So by the time it gets to the governor, hopefully he will be favorable. For the right reasons, for safety and also for the other reasons that were stated. Thank you.
Also, I understand that, this should have been a 5-year program, and we're only in the 3rd year of the program. Why don't if the governor has any reservations, why don't he let it go to the 5 years to see what the facts will draw? At that point, he should make his decision.
Hi. Good morning, Mayor. When you started your press conference, you said it was 95% reduction in right-angle crashes. Is that correct?
It's 95% reduction, yes.
Okay, my name is Rick Short, and I'm from an organization called Stop Robocops. And the two companies, Redflix and ATS, are advertising that it's 86% reduction. So you're telling me that your right-angle crashes just increased 9 more percent?
Well, our data says 95, but 86 is good. We'll take that.
Oh, 86 is good. That's what they've been talking about over the radio for the last 8 months.
That's fine, but
Okay. Well, if any media would like to talk to me outside, I don't want to break your party, but I'll be outside. So.
As a matter of fact, you helped us because the one thing it has in common is that it decreased the actual accidents. So,
Sir, there's a number I'm going to go by here, and you're going to remember this in Newark. It's called 742. Okay. So everything is based off that number, 742. Our organization found 2 right-angle crashes. Your records show, right here that I have, show that there is 4. Now, somehow the number increased from 4 to 7. So when you take the division of 7 to 1, that's how you get 86%, but you just added another 9. So that's why I'm saying these facts are way off. And you can read my report called the Short Ford Report, sir.
we have a report too, and they can read ours. So ours is available in the back, and we have the data, and it's analyzed, and the facts that we give are absolutely the truth. As a matter of fact, any life saved in the city of Newark is important to me. So anybody that's saved because of the red light camera's existence means that the program is successful in my eyes. When there are less crashes and there are less people killed, there's less people injured, that means the program is successful. Now, we can go back and forth on the amount of numbers, the statistics, or anything. The reality is when people walk away, when they're on their way to work and they get back home to their families, when kids are walking across the street and they make it to school without getting hit by a car, or bicyclists are going across Route 21 and not killed by a bus that's riding on Route 21, when there's people running a yellow light and crash into somebody else and kill pregnant mothers on their way home from the hospital, these things are real incidents in the city of Newark that are saved by red light cameras every single day, which makes it that much more valuable and that much more important for us. When a police officer is able to apprehend somebody who is committing a crime in a high crime area as opposed to sitting in his car at an intersection monitoring red, yellow, and green lights, it benefits the city 1,000 more times than a few people who are opposed to giving individuals tickets. And you know what? I'm opposed to tickets too. That's why, you know, as much as we possibly can, we try not to break the law.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yep, that's it. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. That's it.
So I'm curious, there's, you know, in 2012, the state had to halt the program, right? Because there was problems.
I can't hear you.
In 2012, the state had to halt the program because there was problems with collecting data on the yellow lights and they hadn't properly tested that. Are you concerned about the system functioning?
Well, I think that the system is functioning well, but the reality is, as was stated earlier, the best way to determine this is to allow it to go out to the regular 5 years. So if we want to get the kind of analysis that we really need to prove that, and you've heard today the dramatic reductions in many cities, not just Newark, in many cities across the state, but to allow it to go out to the 5-year period to get a better analysis of the program and how it's impactful on the residents of the state of New Jersey seems to be wiser than just responding to a few people who are angry that they're getting tickets, or legislators who feel like that they don't want this program in their district, to begin to defer to other municipalities that need the program and think that it's working.
And to the Essex County Assembly lawmakers, can you explain just a little bit about what the bill that you just recently introduced and what it would do?
What we're looking to do is provide a remedy to some of the questions that have come up. One, to deal with making sure that the yellow lights and the systems are operating properly. So we're going to ensure that there's something in the bill that would actually make sure that those things are happening on a biannual or every 2 years. Two, that in addition to not only red lights, right turns on reds and running the red light, but also some of the things that were highlighted by some of the officers, other moving violations that exist that can be captured on the film. So those are some of the things. That's what we're looking to do. At the end of the day, it's been echoed by everyone assembled here that there are safety values that come from the installation and the existence of red light cameras. Every day, they're being utilized in our communities, not just to identify people running red lights and right-hand turns, but also, as one of the officers identified, they help in other ways to apprehend individuals who have committed crimes in other capacities. So there is a value to having them. But in essence, the bill will continue the program. It will be permissive. It will be permanent. It will be permissive for municipalities, and it instills other safeguards to ensure that some of the concerns that have been raised by some of the critics, they're addressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.